Hello out there to anyone who's watching. This is another one of my little short driving videos, so bear with me if I don't make eye contact the whole time. I want to get where I'm going safely. But I did have a cool idea. Kind of piggybacks on some of the other content I've put up about finding that thing that you're meant to do and just doing that. Even if it comes out of left field at times, even if it seems like something you never thought you would do. Like for me, I never thought I'd be doing what I do for a career now, but here I am, and I love it, and I think it is my calling. So with the time and the wisdom that comes, there also comes some clarity. So in that vein, I want to talk about about this ripple effect. Somebody said recently, he said, if you know, when you're doing that right thing, when you're doing the thing that you're meant to do, he said, passion is for you. And this is something I used to get wrong a lot when I was a kid. So would play music and cook and thought, oh, got to make my passions, got to figure out a way to earn an income. That was a very trending idea when I was coming up. And I mean, it still is there, but I think a lot of people get it wrong. Not everybody's out there to sing and dance and act. Although those things can bring a lot of joy to your life, at what cost and what stage are you hoping to play to? You know, if you like somebody who genuinely gets passion, say from theater, from acting, well, wouldn't you get validation and comfort and a feeling of, you know, this resonating, like, hey, this is what I'm meant to do from doing it in a community theater? Would you need to be on a global stage? Would you need to be a famous actor? Because with that comes its whole other sacrifices on one side of the equation, and you know, the rewards that we get on the other side. So keeping that kind of thing in mind lately, I'll get these little signals from, whether you want to call it God or the universe, I'm not sure it really even matters. Just being aware that there is something, force bigger than you, that shows up in your life sometimes to say, hey, you know what, you're on the right path. And to me, that comes in the form of what I might have called a coincidence at one point, and now I tend to call it serendipity. Now, I'm not here to teach you about that. There's lots of literature on that. If you're a spiritual person, you probably already have some good books. If you have books along those lines and you want to, please get in the comment section some of your favorite books that helped unpack that concept for you. Somebody here might get some benefit from it. For me, the thing I want to talk about today is some of the recent times that those little validations have shown up. And I'll give you an example. So last week on Thursday afternoon, we were heading out to cross the border. I live in Washington State, and it's about a 3.5 hour drive for me up to Whistler in Canada. I had never been, and it being that close, I wanted to do it. My wife and I decided we'll take our son. He had a midwinter break. So we left on Thursday. Come to find out, my work phone doesn't have a international roaming plan. So right as we're close to getting across the border, I get a call from a regular customer of mine. I've helped him out on the industrial side. He works for a company that had recently acquired a new warehouse space, and they needed some Resner gas heaters in there. So I tightened him up. I always check in. Hey, how are things going? And he said, man, it's great. Listen, the reason I called you today is because I have a furnace and AC at my house that I want to get replaced. I said, listen, buddy, I'm about to get over the border. I don't know that I'll be able to be in touch with you then, but let me go ahead and call the office now and get you on the schedule for tomorrow. One of our service techs will be out there and he'll help you. So we did that. Service tech showed up the next day, Friday, and as soon as I got back in town on Tuesday, I called him up and said, hey, how did that go? He said, listen, man, I had a great interaction with your tech. He was going to quote me some stuff and he never sent it. I told him I'd rather deal with you for the sale. So that was pretty cool. We'll edit that out. Getting a call there. So anyway, he said we got a technician who came out, did the work for us, got the furnace working again, but I told him to hold off on quoting new equipment, that I'll be in touch with you because you're my point of contact and I want to buy it from you. Now, that really made me feel pretty good because he could have easily bought from that technician. I'm not here just for the commission. Obviously, that's how I earn my living, but ultimately, if we take care of the customer, I know it'll bode well for me and the company, and I'll get a sale later. But this customer in particular said, nope, I want to buy from Charlie. So a couple days later, to say thank you, I showed up. His team, he has a couple of helpers in the shop with him and some office stuff. I brought a dozen donuts and dropped off. I said, hey, buddy, I will see you later today at your house, to quote that furnace and AC, and we'll go from there. I went on, that was yesterday afternoon. I got him the quote and went on about my business. Did go to the gym last night, go home, sleep. Woke up this morning, I had a couple of early appointments, and while I was at 8 o'clock appointment this morning, I get a phone call from him. He says, hey, let's go ahead and move forward. I'm ready to do it. I said, yes, sir. I'll help you out in just a minute. I'm actually at an appointment now. Can I call you back? He said, sure. Here's the thing. I want you to know you're famous. I said, famous? What are you talking about? He says, my wife works at a grocery store, and she just talks all day with all sorts of people. One of her people that she sees almost daily came in and said, hey, is your furnace still giving you trouble? And she said, yeah, we got it handled. But my husband was meeting at the house just yesterday afternoon with his contact. And the guy said, well, listen, I don't know who you met with, but if you need an alternate bid, you should call my buddy Charlie at Black Lion. He's already installed 4 systems for me at my house and at other properties I own. Now, I have no idea who this customer is. I still don't know. I didn't ask, hey, does your wife get a name? Not important to me. I would love to call the guy and say, thank you for the referral. Here's a little bonus. But the point is, when you do the right thing and you're in the right space, after a while, it really builds that's what they call a network, I'd say. And it also, it kind of just starts to build on itself. I didn't have to do anything extra to get that referral. But what did that do? In a week, I've cemented my place in my customer's mind as, yes, he's the guy to go to. He was able to be thoughtful and drop some donuts at our shop for us, which, again, that's just who I am. It's a perk. It's something, I've been in sales long enough to know that you don't expect anything right out of the gate with these little efforts, but it just kind of creates that place. That service is dying, guys. With AI might be here to change a lot of stuff, and the internet, you can Google anybody's business and see the reviews and this and that, and everybody's an expert, ha ha ha. But at the end of the day, there is no substitute for good service. I don't care what industry you're in. I noticed it when I was still in the service industry. Sometimes before, when I was a chef, I'd pick up bartending shifts, or I'd go and help out these, catering companies when they need servers. And I always got the compliment that, service is not dead, and you're a very good indication of that. That's something I always took to heart. There's a great book I read about 10 years ago called The Service Profit Chain that connects that, pretty well. And that, at the time, that really resonated with me. If you like that sort of stuff, go pick it up. I can't remember the author's name right now. But ultimately, I've taken a step back away from that kind of thinking, because, again, it's not about what can I get out of it. I think, whether you're looking at like spirituality or the, what do they call it? The law of attraction or the secret. Ultimately, all that stuff is geared towards what can I get from it. And I want you to work diligently to dispense with that kind of thinking. There's this guy that I follow on YouTube. He says, when I pour into your cup, there's so much that runneth over or spills over the sides that I get to have a little bit of that. And I think that is really a better look at it. I'm not doing it to get something. I'm doing it because it's the right fucking thing to do. And once you've done enough of the right thing to do, then that value starts to show up in ways you could have never planned. So with that, I don't want to make this a super long, drawn out philosophical study, but I do want to illustrate the point, folks, that whenever you are in that exact moment you're supposed to be, you're in that exact place you're supposed to be, doing that exact thing you're supposed to be, you will get indicators that you're there. And start looking for those signs. They show up in your life. You know when you're doing the right thing or when you're not. You know when you feel like it's a dead-end job, you're going nowhere, versus a place that's just going to open up a world of opportunity to you. So I encourage you, if you're not there, to keep looking for that. And if you need some help figuring out what those are, feel free to DM me. It's something I like to take a lot of passion, a lot of personal time to help people with, because I've helped point some people that I've managed in the right direction. Hey, maybe this role is not a great fit for you, but I've noticed things about you. What have you thought about doing that? And most of the time that's usually internal. I want to keep the good talent on our team. I might just have to tweak what their job title is a little bit. But at the end of the day, the same thing is true for you. Whether you change drastically and do a 180, or you stay just a small tweak to get back on course, you really use those indicators that show up in your life. I think it's a pretty magical thing. So with that being said, stay happy, stay healthy, all that good stuff. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about this concept. And again, guys, always a pleasure doing this. Get out there, figure out that thing that makes your heart sing, and do that. And the rest of the stuff will fall into place, okay?